We've heard the name before, Michigan Militia. It's a group of well-armed activists in and out of the news for more than a decade now. Often they say all for the wrong reasons. The militia has been controversial because of its axe to grind with the U.S. government and its link to Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh. But are they really training to be homegrown terrorists, as some suggest? In our special report, Militia Movement, David Bailey lifts the veil with a first-hand account of the militia's marching orders.
Come in, Bubba.
They do their training.
Is anyone front security?
I will be front security. Mike will be back security.
Firearms and first aid as News Channel 3 watched. But ultimately, few really know what this volunteer militia is getting ready for, other than to arm themselves against the government if needed. That's what scares people who think these men and women are actually training right now to kill.
We're not training to kill Muslims. We would gladly kill terrorists, but not all Muslims are terrorists. Not all terrorists are Muslims. So
they say they're not that scary.
People probably think that we sit at home in our basement and sharpen our knives all day, and that we pray for some kind of apocalyptic turmoil, and we're really that nothing can be further from the truth.
Lee Miracle's been with the militia since it began in the early 1990s and has now taken a leadership role in the group. The militia's original founder was kicked out for being too radical. Now they say a kinder, gentler militia.
We don't want people who are going to hurt Americans. We don't want people who are going to hurt babies. We don't want people who are going to blow things up because they're mad.
He's referring to Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, who at first was believed to have ties to the Michigan militia. Current members still get fired up about what was at best a very distant connection there.
Let's say after the Oklahoma City bombing, they said Timothy McVeigh, a known bread eater, blew up a building. Now, when you go to the store and buy some bread, they're going to say, oh, he's eating bread, just like Timothy McVeigh.
But Miracle and others acknowledge there have been numerous people joining and then leaving the militia who have committed horrible crimes, including a man most in West Michigan remember, Scott Woodring. He shot and killed a state trooper in 2003.
We really don't want angry people to come out here.
But if you check out YouTube, some might see a different picture. Lots of shots of guns, ammo, and camo, essentially a recruiting video to get more members. While the members say they want peace, a recent study by the Southern Poverty Law Center suggested political conditions were right for the Michigan militia to grow and do harm. These militia groups, they allege, are often racist and have the potential to resort to domestic terrorism. So we asked Miracle whether that could happen or whether he could be considered a terrorist.
No, I'm a postal worker. This probably is equally frightening to some people, but no, I work at the post office. I'm not a terrorist.
And members will admit the organization's actually disorganized and isn't growing. At max, it has about a couple of hundred members, and it turned out the weekend we were there, West Michigan members of the Michigan militia chose not to participate in the training in protest. Clearly some friction and lack of cohesion.
We're not the catch-all anymore, and people can find groups that fit better with their idea of what needs to be done.
But they say they're here for a reason, a constitutional right. And they don't want anybody to stop them.
We just basically want to be able to do what we do and be left alone to do it.
That was David Bailey reporting. After being kicked out of Michigan, the militia's founder moved to Alaska, where he runs a similar group. At its peak, the Michigan militia claimed it had 10,000 members.
Range is hot. Range is hot.
Going hot.
Snowstorms, Katrina, any natural disaster like that might break down civilization. Everyone's got a cell phone, but next thing you know, the power goes out and batteries are dead.
I've been caught off guard. When we had the big blackout, we were caught without water, we were caught without food, we were caught without gas. And then on top of that, now, okay, I've got this food. I need to be able to defend that from people that don't.
This is a typical, it's an older Glock 17 9mm.
Gun rights are almost a necessary part of being in the militia. Militia and the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms backed right up next to one another. That's pretty important.
This is a CETME, C-E-T-M-E, Spanish National Arms Manufacturer.
I'm worried about the damage that government interference has done to the economy. How much of your tax dollars are sent to other countries that people can't even pronounce? So I think you need to narrow taxation down to exactly what's spelled out in the Constitution.
I think you see a lot of people that definitely follow the Constitution that are involved with these militia activities.
Most people, there is a range, but most people are libertarian or constitutionalist, as they self-describe themselves.
Kind of don't fit in with the right side or the left side, Republic or Democrat. I think both sides are corrupt, and I think there's a different agenda other than just following the Constitution and running the country the way that the original founders thought that it should be run.
Ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Lock and clear all